Greece, 480 BC. The hot dust of Thermopylae fills the lungs. The clash of bronze shields and spears echoes against the cliffs. 300 Spartans, shoulder to shoulder, unbreakable, defying the greatest empire of the age, the Persians. This is the moment etched into legend, Spartan discipline against overwhelming odds. But imagine, for just a moment, that history takes a violent detour. What if into this ancient world of spears and phalanxes, something impossible appeared? What if the elite warriors of modern America, the Navy SEALs, suddenly found themselves on the killing ground of Thermopylae? Would technology carve through history like a blade? Or would even the most modern forests eventually be consumed by numbers, exhaustion, and time? Let's find out.
So what happens if a SEAL platoon, 16 men, suddenly materializes on the battlefield of Thermopylae? 16 against thousands. But not just any 16. These are warriors trained in the most advanced combat techniques of the modern era, equipped with M4 carbines, suppressed pistols, night vision, radios, explosives, backed by a small arsenal of high-tech weaponry never dreamed of in antiquity. Could they turn the tide? Could they reshape the destiny of Sparta, Greece, even the entire Western world? Or would the ancient battlefield swallow them whole no matter how advanced their weapons?
A standard SEAL platoon, 16 operators, each a master of small unit tactics, conditioned through years of grueling training. Weapons and gear: M4A1 carbines with optics, capable of precise fire out to 500 meters. MK-48 light machine gun, delivering 600 rounds per minute. Sniper rifles, a Barrett 50 cal or a MiG-11, able to reach out past a kilometer. Sidearms, 9mm SIGs or Glocks. Explosives, claymores, grenades, C4 charges. Night vision goggles, turning darkness into daylight. Protection, Kevlar helmets, body armor with ceramic plates, lightweight, flexible. To an ancient warrior, it would look like invincibility. Logistics. Each SEAL can carry maybe 8 to 10 magazines for the M4, roughly 240 to 300 rounds. The machine gunner, maybe 1,000 rounds in belts. Explosives, limited. Once fired, once detonated, gone. No resupply, no airdrop, no extraction. They are a scalpel, not an army.
The Spartans of Thermopylae. 300 citizen warriors, hardened since childhood in the agoge. Every movement drilled, every strike rehearsed. Weapons and gear: spears nearly 8 feet long, Xephos short swords for close combat, bronze aspis shields, 3 feet wide, forming the wall of the phalanx, bronze helmets and cuirasses, heavy but nearly impervious to the weapons of their age. Tactics: the phalanx, shield to shield, spears bristling like a wall of iron, advance slowly, push relentlessly, crush with discipline. At Thermopylae, they stood not alone. Several thousand Greek allies fought beside them. But against Persia's tide of hundreds of thousands, the Spartans were the unbreakable core. They are disciplined, they are fearless, and they have numbers.
Phase 1. The encounter. Picture it. The cliffs of Thermopylae. Smoke and dust hang in the air. The Spartans, arrayed in phalanx, hear a strange sound. Ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The SEALs open fire. Bronze helmets shatter. Spears fall. Shields splinter under 5.56mm rounds. In seconds, dozens of Spartans are down. The phalanx recoils, stunned, never having faced weapons that strike faster than lightning. Explosions rip the air as grenades arc overhead. Where once men stood, now only fragments remain. The SEALs carve a hole through the Spartan line. Phase 2. Escalation. But Spartans do not break easily. They regroup. Shields raised, bodies low, they advance. Step by step. Arrows? They've trained against them. Spears? They've broken them. Now? Bullets. They don't understand, but they adapt. The SEALs fire, reload, fire again. Hundreds fall, but behind them come more. Bronze shields glint, sandals scrape, the phalanx reforms. A machine gun opens up. Men are torn apart. The Spartans falter, but they still push forward. Phase 3. Close contact. And then it happens. The first Spartan reaches striking distance. A spear thrust deflects off a ceramic plate. Another slips under an armpit. A SEAL goes down. His rifle clatters to the ground. Now, it's brutal. Spears against knives, shields against carbines swung as clubs. The SEALs are lethal in close quarters, trained in knife fighting and martial arts, but they are 16 against hundreds. Grenades thin to press, claymores rip apart entire ranks. Yet the Spartans keep coming, over bodies, through smoke. Phase 4. The grind. Hours pass. Ammunition dwindles. Magazines lie empty. Belts run dry. The SEALs fall back, choosing high ground. Snipers pick targets with eerie precision, but every shot counts down towards zero. Spartans learn. They shield their advance with fallen bodies. They wait for reloads, then surge. They press, choke, overwhelm. One by one, SEALs are isolated, cut down, speared, surrounded. By dawn, maybe a handful remain. Bloodied, exhausted, fighting hand to hand with pistols and knives. By noon, silence. The last SEAL is buried beneath a tide of bronze.
Could the SEALs have slaughtered hundreds? Absolutely. Thousands? Perhaps. The first minutes of battle would look like gods descending with thunder. But the math is cruel. Ammunition? Finite. Explosives? Gone once used. Batteries for night vision and radios? Dead in days. Food and water? Scarce in hostile land. 16 men cannot stop an army, no matter how advanced. Once the shock wears off, numbers tell the story.
But here's the twist. Imagine the Spartan reaction. For generations, they told tales of men who fought like lions, but these were demons. Weapons that spit fire, explosions that shattered ranks, armor no spear could pierce. The survivors would speak of thunderous weapons, of warriors who killed from impossible distance. Songs would call them gods or monsters. Would Sparta seek to imitate? Could Greek metallurgy, inspired early, accelerate technology? Would the timeline of innovation shift centuries forward? Or would the tale fade into myth, another story of gods walking among men?
So, what if the Spartans faced Navy SEALs? For a day, the SEALs would be unstoppable. They'd carve through phalanxes like lightning through dry wood. But time, numbers, and attrition would grind them down. The Spartans would win, not because they were stronger, not because they were faster, but because history has always favored the many over the few. Still, one question lingers. What if the SEALs hadn't arrived alone? What if not 16, but 1,600 modern soldiers stepped onto the cliffs of Thermopylae? That perhaps is a story for another time.